It's going to be a lot awkward than I thought. I really thought this was going to be smooth, and then now I'm just like awkward on camera. But you know what? Let's just complete all that. Anyway, what's good, you guys? Mr. GM here. This is first video. Hopefully, a long journey. It's about to be awkward at first, but I am actually very excited for this. I'm just gonna say it right now. I want to be a GM. That's my number one goal. I want to be an NFL GM. And at some point, I'm going to be a GM of my favorite team. Now, what that team is, we're going to talk about that later. But for now, being an NFL GM has been my number one dream. And I'm bound to make it happen. I do this on the daily anyway. I look into this type of stuff. I'm a GM by myself. This is my comfort zone. And I always talk about this stuff, and I always talk to my friends about, what I would do if I was this and it was that. But I'm ready to actually try to be it in real life. So without further ado, let's get started. So number one overall, no matter what happens, we all know who's going number one, and that is Mr. Trevor Lawrence. Now, do the Jets, okay, it says here that the Jets actually do need a quarterback. They do not. That's not their number one need. It says that that's their number one need. Even though we all know they are going to take a quarterback, that's not their number one need. I don't understand that because Sam Darnold is not the worst player on the team. He's actually really solid and he's young and you could go up. But anytime you have a player like Trevor Lawrence, he's like a generational type. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like, there's no argument about that. They might end up trading him for like maybe another first or maybe a second. I don't know. But that's what I would do. Second overall pick, I'm actually have to go to Justin Fields. Justin Fields, the talent is there. One of my favorite quarterback prospects I've ever seen coming out of high school. I hated the fact that he was going to Ohio State. We're going to talk about that later, but it's worked out for him, and I'm happy for him. And no matter where he goes, he's going to succeed. He's just that type of player. Honestly, in any other draft, he would be the number one quarterback prospect. Literally any other. That's how good this dude is, and people really sleep on him. Even though he's like number two pick, so you can't really sleep on him. But at the same time, people sleep on him. Like that's how cool. That's how really good he is. With the number 3 overall pick, Cincinnati. Okay, yeah, I do see Cincinnati having the number 3 pick, so I'm not even going to debate that. But let's be honest, Joe Burrow. He needs protection. That's just straight up. No matter what happens, they need protection. Just everywhere on that line. So, Penny Sewell, he's going to be a multi-time Pro Bowler. He might make All-Pro anytime. This dude is ridiculously good at the tackle position. And it's hard to look at highlights of tackles because, people don't really notice an offensive lineman's success until it starts failing. And I hate that because offensive linemen, they deserve more credit, especially when they're doing good. Now, number 4, Cowboys. All right, I'm going to just say this right now. I do not see the Cowboys getting this low. I see them doing bad, but at the same time, in this division, they are still fighting for a playoff spot. And honestly, if I was them, I would tank. I don't want them to tank, but, this was a good one. But anyway, their defense, atrocious. You could say that they should go with edge, but at the same time, they really need cornerbacks. They need DBs. I know they got Jordan Lewis, and then they have Rhodes. What's his name? Diggs. Travion Diggs. He's solid. Okay, I can't really say he's solid. He's been struggling a little bit. Except against the Eagles, he really came out that, they showed that. But at the same time, Carson Wentz struggling all year. And it's crazy, so got to go with Patrick Surtain right here. It's just, honestly, that's the number one need. They need secondary help. Really need it. At number 6 for the Chargers, honestly, if I was them, I would look at trading back because they do need positions, but at the same time, for the value that they're at, number 5, there's no really need for somebody that high. It's kind of like the Lions situation last year. Trade down, They didn't have any suitors, but Okuda, in my opinion, was drafted way too high. They should have traded down for him. If not, get somebody with that value like Isaiah Simmons. That would have been perfect for them. But we're not talking about the Lions right now. But in this situation, they trade down. But since in this mock draft, we're not trading down. We're sticking to that. So I would say Micah Parsons, but they also need protection for their young quarterback named, Justin Herbert. So I'm going to go with the second best. Now, on here, they have him higher. They have Darshall higher than Cosmi. In my opinion, Cosmi is the second best offensive tackle behind Sewell, of course. So I would say go with Cosmi with the fifth overall pick because you need to protect. We saw what happened to Burrow. Your success isn't going anywhere if you don't have an offensive line. And that's just straight up. Linebacker. So when we go here, they can go a number of routes. So first off, you could go with linebacker. You need another wide receiver because they kind of passed up on my boy, Mr. Gritty. But we're not. If you don't know who Mr. Gritty is, Justin Jefferson. That's the name of the dance. And I know he didn't make the dance, but he really brought it out. So they do need wide receiver help. Jalen Reagor, he's not all that. So for this pick, let's be honest. I was about to take Ja'Marr Chase. Micah Parsons is a freak of nature, and you got to go with him at this situation because they desperately need linebacker help. They really need it. And you could argue that they do need a wide receiver, but if you have Jalen Reagor, you have old dude from the Lions. I can't think of his name right now. What's his name from Old Dominion? Y'all know who I'm talking about. My fantasy stud. I love him. But, yeah, you got him, you got Ward, and then you got Reagor. Those three so far, not a reach for Ja'Marr Chase. You don't need Ja'Marr Chase right now, at least. You can get a wide receiver that's later on you need. So, anyways, with the number 7 pick, the Carolina Panthers. Last year, they honestly should have taken Isaiah Simmons. I wanted them to take Isaiah Simmons. They ended up taking Derrick Brown, which was honestly okay. Nah, Derrick Brown was a reach. Honestly, there were some talks about him going to number 3. He's been struggling this year. I didn't want him going that high. And even at number 8, I didn't see the hype in him. But, I mean, I don't really know how it's going for him. I heard that he's been struggling, but I don't know exactly how bad, so I'm not going to dog him any. But anyway, going into more depth, I'm surprised wide receiver isn't on here for a need because, like, their wide receivers, I mean, they're okay and stuff like that. But honestly, I can see them going with Kwity Paye or Caleb Farley. In this situation, I will go with Caleb Farley just because they do need cornerback help. They have, like, a couple solid corners, but at the same time, you could, like, go down with all that. All right. Number 8, Washington. I'm going to go with an unpopular opinion. We're going to sit on this and talk for a second because, in my opinion, Washington should not move on and get a quarterback yet. And here's why. You just got, they got Dwayne Haskins like 2 years ago. And when you get a quarterback that high, you don't give up that fast. Just like with Josh Rosen. I was not agreeing with the pick. I didn't see the hype in Josh Rosen. I really didn't. And when he was saying how, like, he should have won number 1, there were 9 mistakes picked ahead of him. Yes, he didn't play as well. But at the same time, they moved on from him really quick. Now, looking at it, looking at the fact that they got Kyler Murray, moved Josh Rosen for a second-round pick, that was honestly a good play. But you cannot lose faith in the quarterback that fast. They gave him a year, and which was kind of unfair because at the same time he didn't have any weapons when he was in Arizona. So, and just like that, Dwayne Haskins, I do not believe that Washington should move on from him and get a quarterback that fast. Do I think they are? Yes, I really do think so. They might move him. I would honestly move him for a first. If you can't do that, for a first this year, because if you get that pick and then you can't move him, stay with him and maybe get Kyle Pitts, get another weapon. And then if that doesn't work next year, if he's still struggling, guess what? Then you move on from him. But, all right, I'm going to just go with based on what I think they are going to do. So, honestly, in this situation, I think they're going to go with Zach Wilson. Just because they might move on from him, from Dwayne Haskins, and then they might trade him for like at first, and then, they could just talk about that later, and then see what they can do with that, because at the same time, they got Terry McLaurin, a stud when he has a good quarterback. Everybody's been saying when he gets a good quarterback, but they benched Dwayne Haskins really early in the year, and I do not think they should have done that fast. They gave up on him way too quick, and I was like, if you gave up on him that quick, just don't take him at all, because you're not supposed to expect a quarterback to come in, and as soon as they come in, just flourish. Other than Mahomes, but at the same time, we knew that Mahomes wasn't going to be that good right out the gate. They sat him for a year, sat behind, got his mechanics right, and then out of nowhere, he's on pace to be the greatest player of all time. Fun fact, Detroit Lions, sadly, are my favorite team. I have two favorite teams. Detroit Lions always going to be number one, and then the Philadelphia Eagles. I wanted to wait to tell you about the Eagles one since I just did their pick. But honestly, I'm from Detroit. The Lions are automatically the Lions are actually going to be my favorite team until I die hard. I've been watching since the year we went 0-16. That was the first ever season I watched. What kills me about that is I started watching because when I was 7, I'm a 2000 baby. When I was 7, my dad was hyping me up because he was like, we got this stud named Calvin Johnson. And I was like, do I really care? Do I really care? But then it was my dad, and I saw how happy he was. So I was like, let's start watching the Lions. Most painful year of my life. I didn't even care. At the same time, when I look back at it, I was like, that was terrible. And only thing I want to see is the Lions succeed. And actually, this is why I wanted to be a GM. One day, I want to be the GM for the Lions that brings in these players and just completely dominates the league. Because I am the greatest drafter. I am not even saying I believe. I am the greatest drafter you'll ever meet. And here's why I say this. In 2018, I had one of the best mock drafts of all time. I am going to tell you. So that was the year that Kyler Murray went with number 1, okay? With the Lions, with the 8th pick, I had them, I believe they were going with, of course they did go with T.J. Hockenson. I wanted Devin Bush. Stud linebacker. Generation type, 4-4. Well, it's not even generation anymore. Why do I keep saying that? Because almost all defenders this generation, everybody's fast. Everybody's freak athlete. If you run a 4.6 as a linebacker before, you're considered a guy. Now, if you run anything above a 4.5, everybody's like, it's okay. So that's actually really crazy to me how we're living in that day and age. It's kind of like in the NBA with centers, you have to shoot now. It's kind of like that thing. Like centers used to be like, okay, just grab rebounds and defend, and then you're done. Now you have to be able to do everything. You have to even play make like Jokic. It's weird, but I'm talking about this for a while. But anyway, Devin Bush, 2nd round. I actually went a DK with that number 8 pick, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty much a reach because everybody's like, he might fall out of the 1st round. I don't believe he should. This guy's a freak. 4.38, no, 4.33. He ran a 4.33 at 6'3", 200 something pounds. And I was like, you have to have this player. There were lots of mock drafts taking the Lions with the eighth pick that year. And I was like, you know what? Get Devin Bush. We missed out on DK. It's okay. Second round comes along. He's still on the board. I was like, oh my God, he's actually there. You have to take him now. I was like, when they were like saying with the 30-something overall pick, I was like, Lions, you have to take DK. They took Jelani Tavai. Now, this is when I realized I have to be the GM because this was one of the worst moves I had ever seen in my life. I know this just became a Lions page, but I can't sit around and talk like there's not a problem here. We took Jelani Tavai, who was projected to be a 5th-round pick. What I was mad about was the fact that, 1, we reached. 2, we had a first top 10 talent that was still on the board in the 2nd round, and I didn't understand why all these teams were passing on him. I was like, these teams are stupid. And I was like, maybe I'm actually bad at drafting. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I scouted wrong with this player. Maybe everybody's right. I knew he had a drop problem, but I'm like, at the same time, he's not going to drop, it's not going to be 50-50, and he's going to drop 50% of the time. It's only 8 plays out of the season where he drops a play, where he drops a pass. And honestly, when you think about it, wide receivers, they're of course they're made to catch a ball, but you can't blame them for dropping a couple. But anyway, so that comes around, and then we do that. 3rd round. This is the part where people call me crazy. And now they're saying you were right. I wanted Eastern Michigan's Max Crosby. Now, Max Crosby was a reach. I honestly get that in the 3rd round because everybody was like, you're just looking at local people because Eastern Michigan, Detroit, I knew they weren't going to take him because we never take people from schools that are close, we take Ohio State right next door, of course. We'll take their players, but we won't take anybody from Michigan State. We're about to go back on that too, but we passed up on Max Crosby. I was like, you know what? Maybe he's okay. Maybe he won't do that good. I look at the end of the year. I didn't even realize this all year, but I saw it on Instagram. They showed the stats, and then they're like, would you rather have this player or this player? And they showed stats. The person on the right had better stats than the person on the left in some category, in most categories. And I was like, okay, I'll take the person on the right. I didn't know who it was. Left was Nick Bosa. Right was Max Crosby. Nick Bosa made the number 17 on top 100 players, which was completely idiotic from everybody. I don't care who says it. Nick Bosa does not deserve to be in the top 100. He had 10 sacks. He was over everyone. Everyone. But Max Crosby couldn't even make a top rookie team. Lots of people really slept on this dude, and I don't know why. But maybe because it was Eastern Michigan. Not lots of people look at schools like that. But yeah, so Devin Bush, DK Metcalf, Max Crosby. All pro teams all around. Because everybody's talking about comparing DK to Calvin Johnson. That's idiotic. That's stupid. And I actually want to smack every single person that says that. But that's not the point. What the point is, we passed up on him at a time we needed. We passed up on Max Crosby at a time we needed. We drafted Austin Bryant in the 4th round last year, and then we drafted Okora in the 3rd round this year. 2 edges. What I didn't understand about that, if we drafted Max Crosby, we could have used the pick last year that we used Okora on. We could have used it on a real linebacker. We could have used it on the offensive lineman. Another thing we're going to talk about. I'm sorry, this is a long conversation about one topic. So this past year, when we drafted Okudah, then we drafted Who in the world did we draft? DeAndre Swift. I don't know how I forgot about that. Then we drafted Okora. And then later on in the third round, we drafted Jonah Jones, right? I love that pick. I absolutely love that pick. The next pick, that was fourth round or fifth round? I don't remember. I think it was fourth. Yeah, it was the fourth, actually. We drafted Kentucky's, I can't remember his name. What I wanted, which is kind of weird because I wanted Jonah Jackson in the third round, right? That was a guard. We needed another guard because we let Glasgow walk. I hated the fact that we let Glasgow walk, but that's not the point right now. We're talking about drafting, not free agency. But since we let him walk, I wanted us to get Michael Onwenu. Fun fact, I found this out a couple weeks ago. My grandparents are great friends with his parents, with his mom. They're like close to best friends. They went to the same church or something. I think that's how it worked. But I wanted him because I was like, I've seen him at Michigan. This dude can ball and very underrated. Projected 6th round pick. So I was like, you know what? We need to get him. We drafted another guard out of Kentucky who had a huge penalty problem. A dirty player. I liked his mindset. Hated the fact that we passed up on Onwenu. So look at our offensive line. We would not have to deal with this problem. And here's why. Offensive line is somewhat of a problem. It's not a big problem, but at the same time, it kind of is. So you have Taylor Decker on the left. Jonah Jackson on the right. You got Taylor Decker at left tackle. Jonah Jackson at left guard. Center, Frank Ragnow. Love that pick. Right guard, you had Michael Onwenu. Right now we have O'Day. I don't like that whatsoever. You have O'Day right there. And then you got Vitae. I'm not going to get into the Vitae because we moved him to guard. We're paying him big money for that. We're paying him a ton to play guard now. We signed him as a tackle, moved him to guard. That dude is terrible. I don't care. I'm an Eagles fan too. He wasn't really touching the field that much in Philly, but I knew for a fact that he was garbage. And we signed him for 5 years, $50 million. And now he's playing guard, and our offensive line is still somewhat struggling. So we signed him for all that money when we could have just drafted Onwenu. When in reality, he probably would have wanted to play here. I don't really know much about who he would prefer to get drafted at. But at the same time, this dude's from Detroit. At least Donovan Peoples-Jones. We passed up on him too, but I'm not even pressed about that. But basically, Onwenu, he's from Detroit. So it would have been a safer bet to take him because maybe he would have wanted to stay or something. If it didn't work out, okay, oh well. But the thing is, he's one of the highest rated offensive linemen this generation as a rookie. He's putting up numbers like crazy when it comes to like being graded as an offensive lineman. And it's ridiculous to me because I'm like, this drafting about me is as crazy as I've ever seen it in my life. I've never realized how good of a drafter I am. But basically, what you could have done was you could have drafted a tackle somewhat later on, or you could have kept Tyrell Crosby. I like that pick. I really loved it when we drafted him, but we haven't used him. And then now that we're using him, he's doing okay. He's not too well. So I would look into maybe replacing him or getting him some competition this season. But guess what? That's really your only problem because your guards are good. Your two guards are good. Your center is amazing. He's going to be on your team for a while if you pay him. Detroit. Taylor Decker, we just re-signed. We re-signed him for a ton of money. I hated it. But I'm happy we had him back. But he's been getting cooked lately. So I need him to step it up. And then, so you have that entire middle all set. Then you got Decker, who's, I'm going to keep him, of course. But then Crosby, you got to give him some competition or something because our offensive line, we don't have that much depth no more when it comes to that. But in conclusion, Detroit needs to hire me at least as an assistant GM because I am the greatest drafter. The GM can handle free agency. Go ahead, but I control the draft. I want to control the draft because I guarantee that whoever I draft is going to end up being a stud. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to just leave it at that. Actually, I can't say I'm going to leave it at that. I've been on this pick for 35 minutes, but we're not going to. I'm going to cut this out and stuff like that. All right. So, with Detroit, trade down because, look. Ja'Marr Chase is right here, right? It would be crazy to pass up on him. It's not, and I'm going to tell you why. You trade down because you need help at every position now because Bob Quinn put us in a hole. Patricia put us in a hole. We were good with Jim Caldwell, but we weren't great, so I'm happy we got rid of him. But we made a mistake hiring Patricia, and I knew that. But we decided to do it anyway, right? So, with this pick, because I can't trade down in this draft, but we're going to talk about what we're going to do to get traded down. We're going to take Ja'Marr Chase. We've taken too many edge rushers in the past 3 years to keep taking edges. And I'm not taking Kwity Paye. Listen here, I'm a Michigan fan, okay? He's great. He's amazing. I love him. He's not top 10 material. He's good. He's first rounder, maybe mid to late first round. He's not top 10. I'm going to warn teams right now. You take him in the top 10, you're going to look at people that's going to be like, dang, we could have had this. I mean, he's still good, but at the same time, we could have had this. It's going to be one of those things. I'm going to just say that. All right. Now, Atlanta. I'm so glad I'm not talking about Detroit no more. So, Atlanta. We're going to take Gregory Rousseau from Miami. Rousseau. I liked him coming out of high school, but you need edge help badly because, it didn't work out with McKinley. You need to get rid of him. He's going to want to leave anyway. But, yeah, I just believe that, that you need to you need to get more defensive help. And people would say probably like you need a quarterback and stuff like that. Not just yet. Miami Dolphins. I think this is honestly going to be a no-brainer. And we're going to take Jalen Waddle from Alabama. Speedster, hopefully he comes back to his form from injury. He was probably my third favorite wide receiver coming out of this class. So I do not want them to take I want them to take Jalen Waddle because, you got Tua back. You got the connection, that Alabama connection. They were a deadly duo. You got a speedster. You got Jarian Grant. Then you got Devontae Parker. And then you got Jalen Waddle. Their offense is going to be scary. Let's just say that. Because you got a dude that if he wasn't injured, he would probably break records at the combine. Let's just say that. Now, Denver Broncos. Number 12 is pretty high for what they need. But you know what? I think now is the time that we pull the trigger on my boy from Michigan, Kwity Paye. You need more defensive help. You also need offensive line help. But at the same time, not that desperately. So you know what? We're going to go with edge and get Kwity Paye. You do need some defensive help. Chicago Bears, it is time. It doesn't even matter who else is on the board. Trey Lance. I'm going to hate when the Bears take him. They're going to take a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky, done. Nick Foles, old. You got to get a young quarterback now. And this time, don't take a bust. Mitch Trubisky, one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen in my life. Trade up one spot. Give up a first-round pick. Did they give up a first? I think they did. Because I was like, why would they move up why would they move up one spot when you have the 3 pick, you go to number 2, and then you take a person that San Francisco wasn't even going to draft. So you gave San Francisco all those pieces for one spot, and you don't even take the player they were going to take. Idiotic. I don't know what they were thinking. But they did make up with it for Khalil Mack later on. But they haven't won. They've only Yeah, they haven't even gone far into the playoffs. I think they haven't even won a playoff game. So you can't really say it's a gem because as exciting as he's been, it's not something that was like completely game changing. So let's just move on. Number 14, Miami. I was about to say Miami Vikings. Ooh, I'm tired. Minnesota Vikings. This is a trade down candidate. I believe this is a trade down candidate because for what's available, people are going to want to go up and get these types of pieces. So I believe they should trade down. With who, I have no clue. Maybe you could get like a late first round pick from this year, and then you could get a first from next year, and then maybe like a third or something like that. But this is a trade down candidate team. But since we're not trading down, wait, hold on. Why does it say quarterback is the number 4 need? They definitely do not need a quarterback that desperately. You giving up on Cousins that bad? Okay, yeah, y'all got problems. But anyway, if we can't pass up on it, get offensive line help. Really show that Kirk Cousins gets that protection. And guess what? If you give him all these pieces, because you got Justin Jefferson, you got Adam Thielen, then you have Dalvin Cook. You got lots of help, but like get offensive line. There's lots of offense available. You don't really need defense. I mean, like you don't need one of these players like that badly. So get him help, and if you really need a quarterback that bad, show Kirk Cousins that like, hey, your job is on the line. Don't screw up, okay? All right. Number 15, this is a no-brainer. Get Kyle Pitts to the New England Patriots. One of the best tight end prospects in the last few years. I like Hawkinson, of course, stud, going to be a Pro Bowler. That's my guy. Because for a tight end, he is that good. I've been saying generational so much this video, I don't even want to say it again. So I'm going to just say he's a can't miss. Let's just go with that. Now, San Francisco. I repeat, I'm not going quarterback. Lots of people say they want quarterback. They should go quarterback, but at the same time, all the quarterbacks that are worth taking this early, they're off the board. So we're going to get some offensive line help, and then next year we're going to take our quarterback. So at number 16 for San Francisco, I'm going with Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis, he's at 23 on the rankings on here. I think he should be low teens, like not low teens, like when it comes to the numbers, like maybe 18 or 19. I'll probably have him over. I would have him over Osai. I would have him over Osai under Bateman. I feel like that's pretty fair. At number 17, the Raiders. Now, I think it's time to go with Osai right here. I mean, you could go with another wide receiver. No, you can't. What am I talking about? They just got Henry Ruggs, and then they have... Who else? They got Aguilar. You know what? Yeah. Go ahead. I'm glad they took Aguilar for me. He was stressful, other than the year we won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. The Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is an interesting case. Baltimore Ravens have my favorite front office because they're not afraid to make moves. They are not afraid to do anything. Lots of people are afraid to move around a lot. As a GM, I love to make trades because I know that like I can get something that benefits both teams that I'm not losing that much. It will benefit them, but it doesn't hurt me. So, a problem that the Baltimore Ravens have, honestly, they should be a Super Bowl team. They don't need defense right now. Why they don't need defense? Because they have the number 1 defense. If you have the number 1 defense in the league, was second best. I think the Steelers would if Devin Bush and Dupree didn't get hurt. But if you have the number 1 defense, you don't draft defense first round, no matter how bad the position is. But the problem with the Ravens offense, I see this. Lots of people don't understand because, they got Lamar Jackson and stuff like that. They got all those running backs and tight ends and stuff like that. It's not the offensive line that's the problem. The wide receivers. You got Hollywood Brown, but they have all their wide receivers. If you don't realize it, all their wide receivers are slot guys. You got wide receiver X, wide receiver Y. They're all slot guys. You need a pure X and Y. So honestly, with this pick, I'm going with Devontae Smith. I don't think he's going to be available here, and here's why. I want the Lions to trade down, get Devontae Smith with their first round pick. Honestly, that's what I want them to do. New York Giants. Now this is interesting because they need everything basically, other than running back. Because once Saquon comes back, it's a wrap. It's not a wrap. They're still going to be bad. But on the bright side, you still got Saquon. Now, do you need defense? Yes. Do you need offense? Yes. So honestly, I'm gonna go with. Actually, I'm not sure. I would say Bateman just to give Daniel Jones another piece to really show, because lots of people are saying like pull the plug on him. It's too early to say anything like that. You need help like around him. So honestly, offensive line is pretty good. You could go with that. But I'm not going offensive line right here. I'm actually going to go with J.C. Horn. No, actually, because you got Bradbury. He's doing good. I feel like after, what's old dude that started robbing people like with Lamborghinis and stuff, and he was suspended for the year? I forgot his name, but the charges were dropped. Once he comes back, he was struggling his rookie year. But it's too early to pull the plug once he comes back. So honestly, I'm gonna go with Rashad Bateman. Give Daniel Jones another piece. Why not? It's just go crazy. Now right here, Patrick Peterson, he's getting old. He needs some more help, mentor help. Not mentor help, but like you need to get somebody that like can mentor him. He can mentor, so that way the Cardinals will be ready. So with this pick, I'm going to take J.C. Horn. You could say Travis Etienne because everybody's not set, but at the same time, they got that one young running back that was like doing wonders for everybody. So like, I don't think you go with Etienne round one. So Tampa Bay Bucks. This is an interesting one because you don't really need offensive line help. If you want, you could honestly just like trade the pick next year. I mean, yeah, you can honestly trade the pick, but at the same time, you kind of need help because you only got like, after this year, you only got like 1 or 2 more years with Brady. So you're definitely not getting a running back. You don't need Etienne. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the one of the best interior defensive linemen in my opinion. Tufele. I forgot that you guys do need another defensive tackle because like you got Sue, but at the same time you ain't like you got Sue, you got what's his name? I can't remember, but I only remember Sue because Lions fan, of course. But yeah, so we're gonna take Tufele. If I'm botching his name, I'm sorry, but not sorry. Like, it's expected. Everybody does it. Now, Miami, we're back at it again. Do you need running back? Right now, honestly, I wouldn't. But I'm going to go with Jeremiah because I watch a lot of Notre Dame. My dad likes to keep in touch with Notre Dame a lot. And what I watch is this dude's probably one of the best coverage linebackers I've seen. I want the Lions to get him with the second pick in the draft, but we're not going to talk about the Lions right now. I want them to, I think this would be a solid pick for Miami. They do need some defensive help a little bit. And then you already tackled the wide receiver position. You could go offensive line. But you know what? We're not going to do that. Now, you got Jonathan Taylor. You still don't need a running back, of course. So, you're going to go with Jalen Mayfield, tackle from Michigan. Honestly, I like that pick. They need another offensive tackle. Get somebody with Quentin Nelson, Quentin Nelson's my favorite offensive lineman in the league, of course. that man is a freak of nature, of course. So you need help around there. And with this pick, I've never seen somebody shut down Chase Young the way he did. Even though Michigan still got blown out, that's irrelevant when it comes to him, because he absolutely dominated that game, and I'm proud of him. Only franchise I could say might be worse than the Lions. Yeah, I guess that's fair. So, with this pick, because you don't need running back, of course, because you got Nick Chubb, and then you got the best kicking running back, in Kareem Hunt. So, you don't need a running back, of course. Cornerback, you could, but I don't. Eric Stokes, he's going to be okay, but I don't see him getting drafted that high. Honestly, I'm not going to like this pick either, but I feel like they're going to do it just because why not? Cleveland, Ohio. Shaun Wade from Ohio State. You got Denzel Ward. You may as well get that connection just like the Saints do with all them cornerbacks from Ohio State and the safeties. You may as well do the same thing with Cleveland. Because, honestly, I don't like Shaun Wade that much. Just because you let KJ Hamler get that 90-yard run, even though it was a slant, he does sometimes get cooked. Let's admit it. Sometimes. I'm not going to dog him and say he's bad. I think he's good. Just not as good as people say he is. He's not the number 2 or 3 corner, in my opinion. Jags. Now listen here. You're going to automatically, it doesn't even matter with these three. With these 3 offensive tackles, it doesn't even matter. You know why? Because no matter what, these are all great talents. But at the same time, you have to go offensive tackle here. So I'm going to go with the Notre Dame one just because it's Notre Dame. All the best offensive linemen come from Notre Dame. Let's just admit it. They're one of the best offensive lineman schools. So does Michigan. Michigan's underrated when it comes to offensive linemen. But the thing is, we just don't use our players right. That's a topic for another day, though. New York Jets again. I'm going to take Eric Stokes because you need secondary help still. You don't need you don't need an offensive tackle right now because you got Mekhi Becton. I think that's what they took. It was 4 offensive tackles, so I can't remember exactly who went where. All I remember is Andrew, he went to the Giants, and then there was a whole bunch of other players. But yeah, I think Becton y'all took, but you don't need offensive tackle right now. But get some defensive help. Y'all defense sucks. It's crazy. Now, Tennessee Titans. They're a couple key pieces away from shocking people. All you gotta do is keep feeding Derrick Henry. So you don't need once Taylor Lewan comes back from injury, you don't really need another offensive tackle. So we're gonna pass that off. It's just crazy to me because the only position I see them needing is defensive tackle or linebacker or something, and there's not really many stuff. Actually, no, I lied. Where is he? Oh, he is low on here. Okay, wait. David Collins on here. Dylan Moses is low too, but that's not who I'm talking about. He's that low. Nick Bolton. Actually, he got ejected today, so he might fall. Psych, no, it's college football. You know what? Everybody gets ejected for playing football, So we just, they're just mad because he hit him like that linebacker in high school with the ref. That just happened yesterday. So the date that I'm recording this on. Anyway. At number 28, the Buffalo Bills. Now, it says here that they need linebacker as well. They need cornerback, which honestly they need quarterback, but at the same time it's not the desperate need. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say just you protect Josh Allen a little bit more and go with Rashawn Slater. Now you need to make sure that your franchise quarterback Josh Allen does not have anything affected with him. So yeah, let's just be safe with that. With the next pick, Green Bay Packers. Now, with this selection, you could go with offensive tackle. You got what's his name? He just got the extension. He's like, I know we're not talking about Madden, but he's one of the best overalls in Madden. I forgot his name though. I haven't played Madden in like a year, but you got him, and then on the other side you need help. So I'm gonna go with Dylan Radunz. So it's a lot of offensive tackles going in the first round, but at the same time, you need protection for these young quarterbacks. Now, is that right? Kansas City does not need a wide receiver as a number one option. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. Why in the world does it say Kansas City needs wide receiver as their number one pick? That makes literally no sense. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Sammy Watkins, you got Mecole Hardman, and then you got the other dude. I'm not even going to think about it right now. How in the world is that what you need? When you have the greatest quarterback in the world, what logical sense does that make? Because the only thing that's holding it back is really defense. Because you already got your running back last year. You got your offensive line is pretty good. You got your wide receivers. You got the best tight end in the league. And you got the best quarterback. So how in the world? Now, actually, they do need interior offensive line. So I'm going to go with this, but that doesn't go against my argument. That is complete BS, and we're not even going to settle with that anymore. Did the Saints make a trade or something? Is this saying that the Saints are going to the Super Bowl? Does it say the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl over Kansas City? Oh, y'all. Oh, people are smoking today. All right, we're not going to talk about that, though. It's not about that. Now, the pick. New Orleans Saints. They do need help at linebacker. They need help all around. Honestly, I believe, no. We're not going to get linebacker today. Actually, we're going to get Kyle Trask from Florida. Honestly, in my opinion, Trask is just a little bit overrated. I'd say this is a good area, but people were saying that he's going at 20, between 15 and 20. And I was like, whatever drug y'all using, I don't want it. Say no to drugs. Just saying. But what in the world are they saying? Kyle Trask, absolutely not. I'm not taking him that high. He's good, don't get me wrong. Not that high. Absolutely not. Pittsburgh Steelers at number 32. I know they're 11-0. I know. They are the weirdest undefeated team this far I've ever seen. Because they have a solid defense and stuff. Their offense is pretty good too. It's just weird because any other year I feel like they would be 8-3 maybe. They honestly, if all the players for Baltimore were playing, I'd say Baltimore would have won that. Actually, the Steelers should have lost a lot of games that I feel like they could have lost. But, they won, so they undefeated. Go ahead, do their thing. So, for the last pick of this draft, it's weird because you could go many ways. Just because, you don't need anything, but at the same time, you need everything. Other than wide receivers. They draft the best wide receivers. I don't get it. They draft in great rounds. I mean, they just get second round picks and turn them into firsts. And, I just like their front office. By the way, Steelers were the first team I ever had interest in. I liked the logo. And the Giants. I like their logo, too. I like the blue. Those were my two favorite teams when I was 7. But, I knew nothing about them. And then I started to like the Lions, and then that became my favorite team. But let's stop talking about that and just finish up this mock draft. because we're coming up on an hour of recording. So, at number 32, I think they need to take. I'm sorry. Hold on. I just noticed. Why is Alex Leatherwood so low? That just ruins the mock draft. That really just ruined the mock draft. Alex Leatherwood is above at least 3 tackles that I took. What in the world is this? I'm gonna just take it in the video right there. I am so confused right now. What in the world was that? Why is Leatherwood so low? Honestly, he's like a top 3 offensive tackle in this draft, so I am very confusion. All right, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and just summarize the mock draft. This is the first one. Trust me, throughout the season, once I keep watching games, there's going to be changes. But for now, this is what it is. So, we got the top 5 right here. And then you scroll down. Then you got the top 10. I think these are pretty accurate when I look back at it. I'll probably have Leatherwood instead of Darshaw. I'm gonna put Leatherwood right there and then bump all the offensive tackles down one. Just because I don't know what offensive tackles fit what scheme. It's weird. I don't think you would do that. I think you just do it on talent and then just let them learn exactly how to work with the other offensive linemen. So I'm gonna just bump everybody down. And then with the playmakers, and I like these. Let me know what you guys think below. Thank you all for watching first video. Hopefully you guys come back and watch more. Yeah, I hope everybody stays up, stay safe, stay clean, wash your hands, all that. I don't need to tell you. You already know the deal. It's 2020. Let's just go to bed and just hope that all this is over. So thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. More videos to come. This is only the beginning. And hopefully, this goes farther than I think. All right.